menopause awareness and support both assists women and it also supports men as well. So let's take women first. So many women don't have support from family, friends, and colleagues in terms of understanding what the menopause is, or even putting joining the dots. So being able to provide support and awareness in the workplace primarily helps women to understand the menopause more, but also importantly assists employers to assist women to stay in work and provide adjustments, many of which can be completely free of charge as the standard lays out. In terms of men, that's a really good question, and lots of workplaces, men are predominantly managers. Not always, but predominantly they can be. So this standard will be providing a really good support and education for men, but also not just men as employees, but also men as in husbands, brothers, cousins, uncles, human beings. Most commentators and most surveys all seem to point to the same direction, which is that menopause is the last workplace taboo, pretty much where mental health was maybe 10 years ago. So what this standard is about normalising and being able to normalise conversations around menopause support. We have lots of different types of organisations I've come across. One where there's outright hostility to talk about menopause, one where there is complete indifference, and others where it's treated as a joke. And really what this menopause standard is really all about is how we can normalise those conversations and be able to allow women to be able to have a conversation, a courageous conversation with their line manager, whether it's a man or a woman, to be able to discuss menopause at work. Trade unions have had a really, really proud history of supporting employees at work with around menopause awareness and menstruation health as well, menstrual health as well. Lots and lots of surveys, which we now rely on even to this day, around the impact that menopause has had at work have come from surveys by trade unions. So, for example, my journey in 2017 started from a groundbreaking survey by the Wales Trade Union Congress of 5,000 women, which was really alarming in its impact, which said that 9 out of 10 women found that menopause impacted them at work, which was a light bulb moment for me because I work for a trade union called UNISON, where 80% of our membership are women. And most of the places where our members work, for example, in social care and in health, are predominantly older women in the workplace. So what trade unions have traditionally tried to do is number one, get the data and get the surveys and get an understanding of what those key issues are, and then are tasked with having those conversations, not just with our members, who all too often we first talk to when they're going through a performance-related process or disciplinary process, but actually then have that courageous conversation with employers to say, what can we do to make this the workplace better? So my personal experience has been working with NHS Wales, which I would now say is not quite there, but it's pretty much a menopause supportive employer all across Wales. Royal Mail and the Communication Workers Union have done some amazing work again in Royal Mail. And when the Wales 2C did some work with Royal Mail staff, they actually found that most people who stayed behind after the conversation and wanted more training was male posties, for example. And I know Asdora's which is the Shop Workers Union, has just launched a major campaign as well. So there's loads and loads of stuff going on. But what this British standard does now is take it out of just purely trade union literature and ideal policies, and actually have a really well-rounded, trade union supported and employer supported standard, which is going to be brilliant. This standard promotes inclusivity for both male and female employees. We know that many women find it very difficult, for example, to have that first courageous conversation with employers. And this standard in particular supporting women will provide not just the physical environment for women to be able to flourish at work, but also the cultural environment as well. So there are huge numbers of guidelines and advice and support which employers can use pretty much free of charge. So it doesn't even come with a big massive price tag attached to wanting to be an exemplary employer. And of course, with men, men don't just bring themselves to work as employees or workers. They can be husbands, cousins, uncles, brothers, best friends as well, human beings. So what very much this standard promotes is educating, supporting, awareness, changing the cultures of organisations. And the really, really interesting fact about this is that if a man is in an organisation which is supportive of menopause using this standard, that can have a really, really interesting effect of supporting employees in lots of other organisations who are not being supported. So we're really hoping that the breadth through conversations, both employees and family members, is going to give us a really, really wide stretch and hopefully create a menopause revolution. I've been reflecting on this in terms of my own journey, on my own menopause journey, and tried to think of how I could sum that up in 6 words, which is show up, stand up, and keep up. So in terms of the showing up, if you have an opportunity to learn more about menopause support at work, if you're a man, I'd hugely recommend it because it'll have so many benefits for you both professionally and at home. But once you've got the understanding around menopause, then it's time to stand up and be an ally to your colleagues in work. And then the final bit really then is not just the standing up, because that's the easy bit, and the turning up is the easy bit. It's actually then delivering long-term support, allyship, and friendship to your colleagues, and that's the keeping up bit. And that's what we would encourage all employers. It's great to have a launch, it's great to have a policy, but on their own, they're not enough. It's about, do you create the conditions then for women to feel as though they can have courageous conversations with their line managers at work. And of course, the other good thing about having a kind and supportive workplace for women is it's almost certainly a kinder, more supportive and aware workplace for men as well, which quite a well-known politician in Wales once told me was the very definition of feminism. Now, whether that is right or whether that is wrong, I think the important thing is that we have kinder, better workplaces, and we know for all the surveys which go on, they're then becoming more productive, people have less sickness, absence, and all the rest of it. And the last little key for men is we have a supportive workplace for the health and well-being of women. That will almost certainly be a better workplace for men as well.